Washington Democrats and Republicans don't agree on much these days, but in New York, they agree on at least one thing. For the Empire State, the tax reform bill the Senate hopes to take up this week will be far worse than the version the House passed 2 weeks ago. That's because the Senate bill, which passed the Senate Budget Committee Tuesday, would eliminate the state and local income tax deduction, while the House bill would allow homeowners to deduct up to $10,000 in property taxes. In practical terms, the Senate bill would mean higher federal taxes for many middle-class homeowners who would be spared that fate under the House legislation. Under the Senate measure, obviously, the tax code would no longer mask one of the issues that we face in New York, and that's the high tax, high spend culture we have out of Albany, said Rep. Tom Reed, a Republican from Corning who sits on the tax-writing House Ways and Means Committee. When you do that, you're going to have a corresponding impact on the people living in the state. Some parts of the Senate bill, such as a provision that cuts but continues the historic preservation tax credit that would be eliminated under the House bill, work to New York's benefit. But lawmakers from both parties agreed the Senate's elimination of the SALT deduction makes the bill especially significant for New York. The move would not necessarily mean a tax increase for homeowners of modest means, who would benefit from the fact that the Senate bill, like its House counterpart, nearly doubles the standard deduction. That would mean many more lower-income homeowners wouldn't have to itemize anymore, and therefore wouldn't miss the SALT deduction. But that doesn't mean those homeowners wouldn't be affected. The PricewaterhouseCoopers accounting firm estimated earlier this year that the complete elimination of the SALT deduction would lead to a 10.2% drop in housing prices. How would that happen? E.J. McMahon, founder and research director for the conservative Empire Center for Public Policy, explained how, using the example of a family with a $300,000 mortgage, which is common in the New York City suburbs and not altogether rare in wealthier Buffalo suburbs. Eliminating that family's SALT deduction would boost their taxes by an average of about $3,600 a year, McMahon estimated. So if that family wanted to move or refinance, it wouldn't have as much money to spend on a home, just because it would have to set aside more money for taxes. With fewer people able to afford more expensive homes, McMahon said he thinks housing values in the state could fall as much as 20%. And even if you get a tax cut, not being able to deduct your property taxes is still going to affect real estate values, McMahon said. Your real estate values are going to be dinged pretty significantly. Differences in two bills. Reed worries about the Senate's possible impact on home prices, too. If the Senate tax bill were to become law, house prices going down would be a realistic outcome of that scenario, he said. So I recognize that, and that's why I cannot support the complete elimination of the state and local tax deduction.